Hello there. This is about the shortage of U.S. Treasuries. The demand for U.S. Treasuries is enormous. It's beyond what the Fed requires. Why do U.S. Treasury auctions never fail? Because they are designed not to fail. How come these auctions are many times oversubscribed? Because the U.S. government puts the buyers there. Treasuries are not a funding mechanism. They do not finance the U.S. debt. This is a persistent myth. U.S. Treasuries are a mechanism to control the money supply, to control the cost of money. What happens is the Fed is adding or draining reserves from the banking system. Rates only rise if the Fed decides to tighten monetary policy, not because of so-called bond vigilantes. It doesn't matter whether there are buyers or sellers of treasuries. The Treasury doesn't get more or less money. This is because we have a system that's very different from the gold standard 40 years ago. We have a system of floating exchange rates. And as long as you have your own currency and you have your own printing press, you can determine what interest rates are. That's why there is no bubble in treasuries, because they can never be expensive or cheap. It's perfectly rational that in an uncertain world, people go for an interest rate bearing asset. You get your money back, and if you reinvest the investment income, you come out ahead whatever interest rates are. That's very different from stocks, where there are bear markets of 20 to 70%. Yes, if you have a bond fund, it may go down because you have several bonds. But in the last 80 years, the worst the bond market ever has gone down is about 9% in any given year. Whereas many bear markets of 20 to 70% have occurred in equities. Now, this does not apply to the Eurozone, which has adopted some kind of gold standard. They've given up their printing press, they've given up their currency in return for a foreign currency. They are not even allowed to have a budget deficit. There is even a no bailout clause. So yes, Eurozone government bonds finance their deficits. Well, the question is whether the Eurozone will survive. If not, the demand for U.S. Treasuries will be spectacular. And yields on U.S. Treasuries could collapse to below 1%, just like in Japan. These are interesting times.